I'm John Morton from the San Leandro Dahlias Society. Welcome back. I'd like to talk today about our watering system, how we put in our watering system. I'm going to talk about our staking system and why we use it like we do. Labeling. We want to talk about labeling and how we put our labels on and what information we have on them. And we want to talk a little bit about pinching out the center of the dahlia plant as it starts to grow to force the side shoots to come up, and how that will help you get more blooms. Dahlias can be so rewarding if you treat them right. This is my one of my rototillers. I have 4 of them, but I really don't believe in them that much. I think that when you use a rototiller, you disturb the ecology, whatever's going on underneath the ground. You disturb the worms, the culture that's growing underneath the ground. When you have a yard as big as mine, you pretty much have to use one though. I have a row maker that goes with it, but I kind of prefer to use the old-fashioned kind. It does a wonderful job of breaking up the clay, but of course the clay will go back into a hard pan again during the season, and that's one reason I use the raised beds. What I'll do is run my rototiller through, and then by hand I'll raise the bed up 3 or 4 inches. And that way when the roots go down, they're not going to go down into the clay hard pan. They'll still be in loose dirt. So there's kind of a toss-up on how to do things. Do I go through and do the whole thing by hand? I don't think so when you have as many plants and as big a garden as I do. So I use the rototiller, but I try to use it as cautiously as possible. Don't want to kill the worms and disturb them. They really help out. Don't want to make that life that's underneath the ground disturbed, but sometimes you have to a little bit. But I'm not going to disturb them again until next year. One of the first things I want to do is to make a row here, a straight row. I'm one of those kids that when I was in school could not make a straight line with a ruler. So I have a row maker that I use to make my rows so that I can, when I plant, they'll be fairly straight in a row and make it look a lot better. Even if it's not quite straight, the dahlias will grow. They'll make nice big bushy plants, and if I'm a little bit off, they'll compensate for that. Got my first little plant here, Pam Howden. Now what I'll do is expand the groove that I've made, put some slow release fertilizer in, put a little bit of potting mix in. I think that is more for my benefit than the dahlias. I'm always trying to do things for the dahlias that I think, if I think about it, they don't really need, but it makes me feel better. And then we'll just plant this in the ground. So I'm going to dig down about 6 inches, 7 inches, put a little bit of slow release fertilizer in. Now I'm going to put a little handful of my potting soil in there. Mulch would probably work just as well, but I've got the potting soil. Take my little plant. You can see it's well rooted, ready to go. It's going to be happy to get in the ground, get some dirt around it. Won't be confined by the 4-inch pot anymore. Put my tag here, and we got one planted. So this is Pam Howden. Her number is 7310. That's the ADS classification number. We can talk about that a little later. And she's a water lily, light blend, yellow 16, orange 5, dark pink 13. A true winner. One thing I like to tell you about it, my stakes. I used to use wooden stakes, but someone gave me some metal stakes. And I really like them better because the wooden ones tend to shatter, to break, and the metal stakes just keep on lasting. And a benefit that I found from this is it appears that they deter gophers. Now, I've got a field over here in the back, and I used to have problems with gophers, killing maybe 30, 35 a year, and they would just go through and ravage the dahlia tubers. Well, I got these metal stakes, this rebar, and I've got my tags, which are metal, and they're actually mini blinds. I'll attach the mini blind to the stake, and when the wind blows, there'll just be this sound all through the yard of the tags hitting the metal. I think that deters the gophers because since I've been using this method of staking and tagging, we probably haven't had more than 2 gophers in the yard in the last 12, 14 years. I can't swear that that's what fixed it, but it certainly has helped. Okay, I have 2 more Pam Howdens here. And I tell everyone they should be planting probably 3 feet apart. And if you look at my garden, it's much less than that. Now I put my next stake in the ground. That's pretty hard dirt right there. So I have my tool that I use to sink the poles a little bit deeper. Went right down. And we're ready to go for the next one. The next plant we have is River's Novelty. Got our tag made up already. We'll put it on our stake. This is a new one. Haven't seen it. Looking forward to see how that one comes out. And there's the roots for River's Novelty. I'll continue on down the road this way, making the row so that I'll have the same type of plants after each stake. So as I had the 3 Pam Howdens, now I have 1 River's Novelty. Put in my stake. We'll go from there. So what I have is a little semi-drip system. It's actually a tape that leaks every 4 inches. So now I'm going to show you how I put that in. You may not be using this exact system, but this may give you some ideas on what you might want to do for your watering system. So this is my tape that I'm going to be using. Now what it does, when water goes in it, it expands to make a little tube, and every 4 inches it's going to be leaking. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this tape and I'm going to roll it out all the way down to the end of my row. And at the end I have a main water supply that we'll be attaching it to. Now this is the piece that I had in here last year. So I'll remove it. And you can see it was nice and round from the water and the fitting. We'll attach this. So now I'm going to come back down here to the origin of my tape. I'm going to cut it off so there's plenty of room here at the end. So I've got plenty of tape. And I'm going to tie a knot in it. Pull it good and tight. I'll do it one more time because I don't want it leaking out the end. Okay. I'm gonna put this down. When the sun is shining hot, it makes this expand, and this tape can move all over the place. So I've got this little piece of wire that I'm going to put down to hold it into place so it's not going to go away. Most likely you're not going to have 600 dahlia plants. You may only have 10 or 15 or 20. You may not have them in rows. You won't be using a rototiller. You won't be using the watering system that I have here, but I'm letting you know about these things because it may give you some ideas for what you can do in your yard. The drip system or something like this hose, this leaky tape can really save you a lot of water in the long run. I'm not watering in between the rows. I'm getting it right where it needs to be. When I fertilize, a fertilizer is going to be going directly where I need it, not all over the place. So it saves money in the long run. Saves resources, the water resources in the long run. I have to watch these during the first part of the season when I put these down, because birds will come and they'll try to get water. They'll see that there's water coming from the little hoses, and they will want to get water also. So they'll peck holes in this tape. So I'm at the beginning of the year, I'm forever going through and mending my my tape. You can see here on this little short plant that we have a bloom on it already. It's pretty well done, but if you look at the whole plant, it looks kind of sparse. Had I done the pinching out, the taking out of the terminal bud, I would be forcing out the plant, the shoots on the side, and we would have more shoots coming up instead of just this one bloom showing. Now here's the next ones I'm going to plant, and that's Valley Porcupine. What I'm going to do is just take out that center. Here's a second one. The second one actually has a bud on it. Oh, this is going to hurt me. I want to see the flower, but I'm going to go ahead and take out this center. This way the plant will be coming up. You can see the side shoots coming out. This will force them to come out even faster. It'll force the blooms to come off the side. We'll have more blooms during the year than I would if I let the terminal shoot keep going. So next time we meet, we'd like to talk about why you need to grow dahlias. What got me hooked? The colors and everything, just the diversity of the dahlia. We also might want to play a little game and see if we can grow the biggest dahlia in the world. I'll show you how to grow the large ones. And we'll talk about microclimates. We're here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Next door might be different than what you've got in your yard. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Be good to see you next time. Goodbye.